Scientists warn that North America faces an ecological disaster unlike anything in recorded history. A plague of razor-toothed invaders spreading faster than any containment effort can match.
It is the dark of night and the hunt is on for wild pigs in Texas, where they have a big pig problem.
Across rural Texas, this crisis has created a bizarre survival economy where farmers make more money trapping destructive pests than growing food.
Wild hogs that have made their way to Texas, and we're doing everything we can to keep them out.
Every week, landowners sell 200 to 400 feral hogs to hunting operations, turning agricultural devastation into desperate profit because traditional farming has become nearly impossible.
In the culture is hog hunting out here.
Everybody does it. If you can hold a gun or drive in a truck, people are hunting them.
They're feral hogs, an invasive army that's been quietly conquering American farmland for decades. A single group of 10 can explode into over 300 animals in just 2 years, creating agricultural devastation that costs farmers $2.5 billion annually. Traditional solutions, steel gates costing thousands, high-tech sensors, even organized hunts, have only made the problem worse. But what if the answer wasn't expensive technology or brute force? What if a solution costing less than $200 could capture an entire herd in complete silence? Deep in rural America, farmers have discovered something that defies every assumption about animal control. No doors, no engines, no noise, just a simple net that turns the hog's own intelligence against them. Today, TechMotion reveals this breakthrough that's saving American farms, proving sometimes the most powerful solutions hide in plain sight. Picture walking through your grandfather's cornfield at dawn, expecting to see neat rows stretching toward the horizon. Instead, you find what looks like a battlefield. Soil churned into chaos. Months of careful cultivation destroyed in a single night.
I don't want feral swine in this state.
This is the reality facing American farmers from Texas to Florida, victims of an invasion 4 centuries in the making. Most people don't realize these destroyers aren't supposed to be here. Feral hogs represent centuries of biological mixing. Domestic pigs that escaped colonial farms, blended with European wild boars imported for sport hunting. What started as scattered escapees has evolved into a continental plague. These adaptive survivors now occupy more than 35 states, spreading farther each year with the persistence of a slow-motion natural disaster. Here's where the mathematics become terrifying. A single sow produces 2, sometimes 3 litters annually, each containing 6 to 14 piglets. Start with just 10 animals. Within 24 months, you're facing hundreds. Wildlife biologists call this phenomenon a biological time bomb, and the fuse burns faster than any containment effort can match. The devastation unfolds on multiple fronts. These indiscriminate feeders tear through agricultural landscapes with industrial efficiency, powerful snouts ripping apart soil, destroying crops, eroding riverbanks. They devour bird eggs, consume reptiles and insects, systematically reducing biodiversity wherever they establish territory. For American agriculture, the annual toll exceeds $2.5 billion in lost harvests, ruined equipment, and damaged ecosystems. But statistics can't capture the personal anguish. Ask any landowner who's watched a season's worth of sweat, an investment reduced to ruins overnight. What takes months to nurture can vanish in hours, and traditional methods of control have proven tragically inadequate against an enemy that breeds faster than bullets can fly. This helplessness drives farmers to desperate measures, yet conventional solutions only make the problem worse. Desperate farmers don't surrender without a fight. Armed with rifles and determination, thousands of hunters descend on southern fields each year, hoping bullets can solve what biology created. Yet wildlife experts reveal a troubling truth. Every shot fired actually makes the problem worse. Here's what happens next that most people never see. When gunfire erupts, these highly social groups, called sounders, don't just run. They fragment into smaller, more paranoid units scattered across the landscape. What was once a manageable herd of 20 becomes 4 separate groups of 5, each now educated about human danger and nearly impossible to locate again. The landowner celebrates removing a handful, but the survivors adapt, multiply, and return under cover of darkness with hard-earned wariness. Conventional cage traps seemed like the logical next step. Most feature a single entrance with a spring-loaded door designed to slam shut when triggered. The fatal flaw reveals itself in real time. The first hog enters and gets caught, but the rest of the sounder witnesses everything from outside. Panic ensues. The survivors bolt, and their intelligence ensures they'll never approach that location again. Engineering tried to solve this with drop-gate traps, massive steel structures costing thousands of dollars. On paper, they promise whole herd efficiency. Reality proves more expensive. The mechanisms frequently jam mid-operation, slamming shut empty while startled hogs scatter with ear-splitting squeals. Even when functioning perfectly, premature triggers catch only 1 or 2 animals, while the rest observe and learn. This fundamental error plagues every traditional approach, treating the crisis as individual animal removal rather than group elimination. Intelligence and social structure make feral hogs nearly impossible to fool twice. The breakthrough that changes everything requires abandoning conventional wisdom entirely and embracing what initially seems impossible. For countless American farmers, the struggle against feral hogs is a fight they never asked for. Imagine investing months of labor into a cornfield, only to wake up and find the entire crop destroyed in a single night. It is more than lost income. It is the crushing weight of knowing that a season's worth of sweat and sacrifice has been reduced to ruins by a herd of animals. Jack, a landowner in the South, faced this reality more times than he cares to remember. "One night can wipe you out," he recalled, describing the helplessness of watching hogs outsmart trap after trap. Hunting didn't work. Drop gates failed, and steel cages only caught a few while the rest learned to stay away. But Jack refused to give up. Through trial, error, and persistence, he came across a method so simple it seemed impossible at first glance. That method became known as the pig brig. The pig brig looks deceptively simple. At first sight, it is nothing more than a circular wall of netting held upright by posts and rope. There are no doors, no gates, no engines, and no heavy machinery. Yet this design turns out to be its greatest strength. Here's how it works. Wild hogs are natural diggers. They push their way under fences and barriers using their snouts. The pig brig takes advantage of this instinct. The lower edge of the net is designed to be flexible enough for hogs to nudge their way inside. But once they've entered, their frantic search for an exit leads them in circles. There is no door to find, no corner to break through, only the same high mesh wall surrounding them. What felt like an open invitation becomes a trap with no escape. From a technical standpoint, the advantages are striking. Unlike steel gate systems, the pig brig requires no electricity, no sensors, and no mechanical triggers. It makes no noise when activated, removing the very signal that usually scares hogs away. Farmers report that in a single night, one trap can contain up to 45 animals at once, including the sow, her piglets, and the younger males. That means entire sounders can be removed in a single operation, preventing the cycle of reproduction that makes hog control so difficult. Equally important, the trap is practical. It can be transported in the back of a pickup truck, assembled in less than an hour, and reused across multiple sites. For many landowners, this combination of simplicity and efficiency makes the pig brig not just a tool, but a turning point in the fight against feral hogs. But building the trap is only the beginning. To make it work in the field, farmers must follow a careful process. If you found this video fascinating and worth watching, comment 1 below. If not, be honest, comment 0. Jack's breakthrough sounds deceptively simple, until you realize that containing a 300-pound charging boar requires engineering precision disguised as farmyard simplicity. Building a brig demands attention to details that separate success from catastrophic failure. Every component must withstand tremendous force while appearing completely non-threatening to highly intelligent prey. Step 1. Creating the foundation. The process begins with T-posts driven deep into earth, arranged in a perfect circle like spokes of an invisible wheel. This isn't casual fence work. Each post anchors against forces that would demolish conventional barriers. When properly positioned, the framework resembles a fortress foundation designed to hold back an army. Step 2. The net that sings. Next comes the mesh itself, stretched between posts with guitar string tension. Properly installed netting can withstand over 6,000 pounds of pressure, enough force to stop a charging sounder dead in its tracks. Cam straps connect post to post, eliminating vibrations that might signal danger to approaching hogs. When wind catches perfectly tensioned mesh, experienced trappers know the sound. A low harmonic hum that means the difference between victory and disaster. Step 3. The psychological edge. The trap's genius lies in its bottom edge, angled at precisely 45 degrees into soil. This subtle engineering exploits the hog's strongest instinct against them. They can nudge inward using natural rooting behavior. But as they push deeper, the net tightens like a closing fist. What feels like easy entry becomes impossible escape. A one-way passage, engineered by understanding animal psychology. Step 4. The final lure. At the circle's heart, farmers spread exactly 100 pounds of corn in a ring 3 to 4 feet wide. Placement proves critical. Hogs must commit their entire bodies inside the perimeter before reaching food. This ensures whole sounders enter together, not just brave scouts who might trigger premature captures. The completed pig brig appears harmless. No machinery, no obvious threats, just posts and netting surrounding scattered corn. Yet this simplicity masks sophisticated behavioral engineering that turns the hog's own instincts into prison bars. However, even perfect construction means nothing if the trap sits in the wrong location. Many first-time users discover this painful truth when their expertly built pig brig catches nothing but empty air week after week. Even the most effective trap can fail if placed carelessly. Many first-time users of the pig brig learn this lesson the hard way. Mistake 1. Setting traps where hogs don't travel. It may seem obvious, but some landowners install the net in areas without pig sign. No tracks, no rooting, no droppings. In such places, the trap may never catch a single animal. Mistake 2. Placing traps too close to human activity. Hogs are cautious by nature. If the trap is near homes, barking dogs, or machinery noise, they will avoid it entirely. Mistake 3. Poor ground conditions. Low, swampy ground may seem convenient, but standing water spoils the bait. Once the corn ferments or molds, hogs lose interest, and the trap becomes useless. Mistake 4. Moving too quickly. Impatience is another common error. Without enough camera data, some operators rush to relocate the trap. But hogs require time to adjust. If the net is removed too soon, the conditioning process is broken. So, how do experienced trappers succeed? They look for the signs. Fresh hoof prints, muddy wallows, droppings, rub marks on trees, and trails leading to water sources all point to hog activity. Smart placement means setting the trap near these patterns, but never directly in their bedding areas. Another critical factor is wind. A trap set upwind of the herd will carry the human scent straight to them. Seasoned operators always calculate the breeze, ensuring that their presence is never betrayed. When the location is chosen wisely, the odds of success rise dramatically. Field reports show that correct placement can raise capture success rates to as high as 80%, compared to traps set randomly in low traffic areas that may catch nothing at all. But catching hogs isn't just about hardware and placement. It also requires training the animals themselves. The pig brig is not a trap that works instantly. To capture an entire sounder, farmers must first build trust, a slow and deliberate process known as the conditioning phase. At the beginning, the bottom edge of the net is lifted and secured, leaving enough space for hogs to move in and out without resistance. The posts stand, but the trap itself is inactive. Over several nights, the herd becomes familiar with the structure, treating it as part of their environment rather than a threat. Meanwhile, feed is placed with care. At first, corn is scattered along the outside ring, then gradually beneath the raised net, and finally into the heart of the enclosure. Each night, the hogs push deeper inside, lured by food, but reassured by the absence of danger. Throughout this time, cameras quietly record their behavior. Farmers watch closely. Are the animals relaxed? Do they brush against the netting and return without hesitation? The true moment of readiness comes when the herd enters comfortably, even as the net brushes along their backs. Those who rush this phase almost always fail, trigger the trap too soon, and only a handful of hogs will be caught, while the rest learn to avoid the site for good. But when patience is applied, the results are remarkable. The entire sounder, from sows to piglets, can be captured in a single night. This careful conditioning is what separates frustration from success. And behind every successful capture stands a farmer who has endured the losses, learned the patterns, and found a way to fight back. After weeks of patient conditioning, the moment of truth arrives with brutal simplicity. Tom Rodriguez checks his trail camera at 5 a.m., coffee steam rising in the Texas dawn. The footage shows what every farmer dreams of seeing. 32 hogs moving confidently through his pig brig, sows heavy with pregnancy, piglets trailing behind. The entire sounder treating the enclosure as their personal dining room. Not one animal shows alarm. The conditioning worked perfectly. "This is my dad's trap," Tom says, his words carrying the weight of inherited wisdom and personal vindication. "Nobody's paying us to say this." His honesty cuts through any doubt. This isn't marketing, it's survival. The mathematics tell the deeper story. 11 of those captured sows were pregnant. Had they remained free, within 6 months, Tom would have faced over 100 additional hogs tearing through his fields. Instead, one patient night eliminated what could have become a biological catastrophe. What strikes visitors most isn't the trap's complexity. It's Tom's quiet precision. Years of watching his crops destroyed taught him to read hog behavior. Like a farmer reads weather, the scratched fence posts, the muddy wallows, the timing of their evening raids, details that separate those who capture entire sounders from those who catch nothing at all. These victories rarely make headlines, yet in rural communities, word spreads quickly. Each successful capture represents more than numbers. It's proof that American ingenuity can match any challenge nature throws at working families. The pig brig teaches us that the most powerful solutions often come from observation, not force. Against an enemy that breeds faster than bullets can fly, American farmers discovered that patience defeats panic, intelligence conquers brute strength. This isn't just about hogs. It's about protecting the land we love through ingenuity rather than desperation. Sometimes the best technology is the simplest. A net, posts, and farmer's wisdom can outperform expensive machinery. This represents American resourcefulness at its finest, turning problems into opportunities through persistence and clever thinking. But the pig brig is only one weapon in this war. Some farmers take a more direct approach, using hunting techniques so effective they can eliminate millions of hogs. Click the video on your screen to discover these shocking hunting methods that most people never see. Subscribe and hit the bell for more agricultural innovations.